What does nobody ever talk about when it comes to JB Priestley, and why might it impact how you think about him? Let's find out. Hi there, I'm Giles Goff. I'm an education writer and a recovering English teacher, and today we're going to be looking at JB Priestley, the author of An Inspector Calls. Let's get into it. John Boynton Priestley was born September 13th, 1894 in Bradford in Yorkshire, and he's affectionately known as Jack to his family. He served in the army during World War One. I believe he fought in France, and he narrowly escaped death on several occasions, and I believe he was actually buried alive by a trench mortar. So when he talks about fire and blood and anguish, Priestley has some first-hand knowledge of this stuff. He went to Cambridge University. Initially, he didn't want to go to university. He wanted to get some experience of being in the world. So at age 16, he begins working as a junior clerk for a local wool firm. But obviously that doesn't last long. War breaks out and, well, plans change. After the war, Priestley goes to Cambridge University, where he studies English literature, and he graduates in 1922, where he starts work as a freelance journalist. And he is constantly churning out work. He's constantly sort of writing stuff. He actually has an amazing work rate, and his first success came with a novel in 1929. Despite writing novels, he's more famous for his plays. He wrote When We Are Married in 1938, which is the first ever play to be televised. He wrote several plays about the very concept of time, including Time the Conways, When We Are Married, I've Been Here Before, and obviously An Inspector Calls, which is his most famous time play. We will be getting into the concept of time as a theme later on, so don't worry too much about that just yet. His wartime radio broadcasts reached 16 million listeners before being cancelled for being too critical of the government. I believe Churchill himself got him fired from the BBC. I think he said something like, Mr. Priestley's war aims are not my war aims. Believe it or not, he was on George Orwell's list of suspected communists and was under investigation from the propaganda wing. Yes, the British government literally had something they called the propaganda wing. And many of you might not know about George Orwell. He's the writer of Animal Farm and 1984. He is about as anti-authoritarian as they come. So if George Orwell is saying you might be a suspected communist, that's a bit like Jeremy Corbyn saying this guy's a bit too left wing for me. Now, a lot of the authors we talk about, they tend to talk a good game in terms of wanting to make the world a better place, but beyond writing their works, they don't really do anything with it. Priestley does want to make the world a fairer place after the war. He goes into politics in 1942, and he founds the Commonwealth Party, which later on gets absorbed into the Labour Party. He believes that peace could be achieved with cooperation and respect between countries. And in 1958, he was a founding member of CND, which is the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, which calls for all countries to give up their nuclear weapons. You might have seen this symbol before. I particularly remember it on the back of Ginger Spice's dress from the Spice Girls, and it's been co-opted and kind of watered down in the years since, but broadly speaking, this is the symbol for the CND. And he died on August the 14th, 1984, less than a month from his 90th birthday. Now, what no one talks about when it comes to Priestley is that Priestley was married 3 times and had 3 children. And how can I put this delicately? Priestley has a very relaxed approach to marital infidelity. He was something of a serial adulterer. He cheats on his wife several times, and I think it's his 3rd wife. He has an affair with her whilst he's married and whilst she's married to somebody else as well. Now, why am I just digging up people's dirty laundry? Why is this important? Well, it may have influenced the presentation of Gerald in the play, because whilst Gerald does something by 1912 standards that is absolutely horrendous, he's actually presented comparatively well. He treats Eva better than most of the others in the play, and this might be Priestley kind of letting himself off the hook by having slightly more relaxed sexual ethics, shall we say. So there we have it. There's all the key things you need to know about Priestley. Now, I don't want to end this on a total downer because, let's be honest, talking about people having affairs is probably not the most fun thing. So I'll just tell you that although Priestley was believed to be quite anti-monarchy, in later life he refused both a knighthood and a peerage, but he eventually accepted an honour called the Order of Merit, and the reason why he accepted it was chosen by the Queen herself and not the government. So he couldn't have been that anti-monarchy. I hope that's proved useful and that's given you something for your essays. Please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.